Salam sejahtera dan bersama saya Rizal Zulkafli dan ini agenda awani. Program COVAX bercadang membeli 550 juta dos vaksin dari China sehingga separuh pertama 2022. Menurut laporan CCTV China, Perikatan Global untuk Vaksin dan Imunisasi Gavi menandatangani perjanjian pembelian awal dengan dua pengeluar vaksin di China pada Isnin. Menurut perjanjian berkenaan, Sinopharm dan juga Sinovac akan membekalkan 110 juta dos vaksin COVID-19 hingga Oktober. Dan kenyataan Gavi menyebut 60 juta dos vaksin akan datang dari Sinopharm dan juga dibekalkan daripada Julai ke Oktober, dan juga 50 juta dos dari Sinovac akan dibekalkan dari Julai hingga September. Sehingga kini China telah memberikan 500 juta dos vaksin COVID-19 dan juga bahan mentah kepada lebih 100 negara dan pertubuhan antarabangsa di serata dunia. Ia adalah bersamaan dengan 1/6 daripada jumlah keluaran vaksin COVID-19 semasa. Dalam masa yang sama, menurut laporan New England Journal of Medicine, fasa 3 ujian Sinovac di Chile telah menunjukkan perkembangan yang sangat baik. 10.2 juta peserta terlibat dalam ujian fasa 3 tersebut, dan daripada keputusannya, ia menyatakan bahawa 65.9% berkesan melawan COVID-19 yang tidak bersimptom, 87.5% berkesan menghalang kemasukan hospital, 90.3% berkesan menghalang kemasukan ICU dan 86.3% berkesan untuk menghalang kematian berkaitan COVID-19. Kita ingin membincangkan berkenaan dengan cabaran bagi pengeluar vaksin Sinovac ketika ini, serta apakah peluang dan juga bagaimanakah ia bekerjasama dengan pelbagai pihak untuk memastikan penghantaran dan juga pemberian bekalan vaksin untuk peringkat global. Kita bersama dengan pengarah kanan pengurusan pengawal seliaan luar negara Sinovac Biotech, Winning Meng. Winning, thank you for joining us. Winning, recently, let's talk about the various new COVID-19 variants from Alpha, Beta, Gamma and Delta. How do you see this trend, and will there be newer COVID-19 variant mutations according to WHO?
Yeah, thanks. Nice to meet you. And actually, currently we're already under the pandemic of COVID-19, and the characters of these COVID virus will keep evolution and to make itself suitable in the population, in the human population. So we can see, as long as the pandemic still running, and then we'll see a new variant coming out. That is should be for sure.
Mhm. But what else should we know about these variants, and why do you think the coronavirus keep on changing from one variant to another?
Well, because currently, if you from the world, you can see still a lot of country they don't have many vaccine available, and the vaccination rate in the especially in the adult population is still just even less than 10%. And as long as the vaccine is not covered enough, and then they will always have some percentage, even major percentage of population in country still will be very sensitive for the virus. And then they will still well likely there's some outbreak in such population. And then the virus are keeping circulate in the population, and the virus will keep mutate and to suitable to along with the people.
Winnie, you mentioned something really interesting, that the vaccines right now available for globally is still not enough. Tell us, why is it still not enough? I mean, there are many vaccine producers right now producing many different types of vaccines, but why is it still not enough for the general population globally?
Yeah, but the vaccine development it take time, and the vaccination take times, and so currently the distribution of the vaccine also is not that how to say quite fair and to every country. So we can see still in most of developing countries, the vaccine are still in a big shortage. So as a vaccine manufacturer and developer, and Sinovac keep try our best to that and keep contribute our effort. Currently, we already increase our production capabilities to around 4 billion per year. So that means every month we will produce more than 300 million doses of vaccines. And we already supply more than 120, it should be 1.2 billion dosage to the globally. And we are still keep to increasing our supply to the developing countries. We just signed the contract with COVAX, and this is also a very big milestone for us to keep increasing our supply to most of developing countries.
Wen Ning, share with us, are we prepared to fight these variants? What are some of the things that Sinovac is also doing to address this current development?
Yeah, well, as a vaccine developers, although we already have data from phase 3, but we still keep our eyes on the current epidemic situations. And our R&D people and keep working on those variants. We already have the data from the in vitro test based on the laboratories. The main test is a neutralization assay by using the blood serum from the vaccinated people and to do the neutralized to the variant. Based on our current data, we see the vaccine still maintain the potency to all the variants, including Alpha, Beta, Gamma, and Delta. And one thing I need to share is we see a very similar potency to against Gamma and Delta.
You know, after having said all that, are you as a vaccine manufacturer and developer, do you believe you're prepared to fight these new variants and future variants?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, we are keeping doing that. For example, our new version vaccines against, especially against the Gamma strain already available. And we used the Gamma strain virus seed isolate from Brazil. And we already have the vaccine available, and we already have some preclinical data. So the small clinical data to adjust the safety and the immunogenicity of these new Gamma strain vaccines will be start very soon.
The current news report stated that the third dosage would perhaps help antibodies fight new variants. What is Sinovac's stand on this?
Well, this is actually is a little bit complicated situation. As Sinovac, as a manufacturers and developer vaccines, we keep our studies, also including the booster studies. What I need to mention here is the booster dose strategy should be based on the different situation. Currently, the most important for country is still increasing the coverage of the first shot and second shot, and for all adult population, and that is the first step. And as long as we achieve that, then we can considering the booster dose for the high risk population, for example, healthcare workers and elderly people, and etc.
But what about mixing different vaccines right now? Some countries are also looking into that to ensure that a lot of the population get 2 doses.
Yeah, well, we also welcome this strategy. And, as the vaccine developers, our target always, I think different manufacturers, we have the same target and just eliminate this COVID-19 pandemic. So we welcome a different strategy of vaccination, but still I need to mention that the vaccination policy or vaccination strategy should be based on the study data. So we should make the decision based on the enough data, and then we can judge what is the best strategy.
As a vaccine developer and also a manufacturer, what's your biggest challenge right now?
Well, as a vaccine developers, the biggest challenge is still the time. We are racing with the virus, and we see the variant. And now for us, the most important thing is still keep working hard and to produce as many as possible the doses of the vaccines to deliver to also as many as possible countries, and then to let more people get the vaccination. And this is our target currently.
But what about perception, Winning? Do you think there are many different perceptions out there as to vaccine A versus vaccine V, vaccine manufactured by country A versus country B? Do you think this perception should be managed, or what do you make of this perception?
Well, from the global view, as I mentioned, that the vaccine is still in a big shortage, especially in most of developed countries. So I think as long as the vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine, is approved by authorities, then the people should take the vaccines. So as long as the vaccine available, people should take the vaccine and get vaccination, and then get the protection.
Okay, we'll take a short break. When we come back, let's talk about the different countries perhaps reluctant to accept the Sinovac as part of their vaccination program, and what are you doing to address that. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk about that. Kita akan berehat seketika, kembali selepas ini. Bertemu kembali, anda masih bersama saya Rizal Zulkafli dalam agenda awal ini. Kita bersama dengan pengarah kanan pengurusan pengawal sediaan luar negara Sinovac Biotech, Winning Meng, membincangkan berkenaan dengan persepsi berkenaan dengan vaksin dan juga perkembangan vaksinasi serta cabaran ketika ini. Winning, thank you again for joining us. Winning, let's talk about the countries that are reluctant now to still accept or still reluctant to accept Sinovac as part of their vaccination program. I believe you shared with us earlier that 41 countries are currently using Sinovac and 50 countries have approved. But why do you think there are still countries out there that are still a bit reluctant to accept Sinovac as part of their vaccination program? And what is Sinovac doing to address this?
Well, actually, there are more than 200 countries in the world. And, we have a limitation on the resource. We cannot really cover the even more than 100 countries within a short time, because the vaccine is not the normal consumers. It's a pharmaceutical product, and then they have to go through the evaluation by the authorities. So currently we are focused on those the countries, they are suffering a very heavy pandemic. For example, Brazil, for example, some South America countries, also Indonesia, Turkey, and so on. And those countries, they have a big population, and also we have a good collaboration with them. But we are also keep effort to supply more countries, and that is why we are try our best to get approved by WTO, and we are also spend just a very little time and to sign a contract with COVAX and to supply the vaccine even from this month and through the COVAX to more countries. So our target is always to supply more and more countries in the world.
But are you also engaging with the governments of these different countries to perhaps address the perception and also get them to understand the efficacy of the Sinovac vaccine?
Yeah, well, actually, we keep the transparent on the data. So as long as we have data, we are willing to sharing and the data with the different countries. The MOH, the authorities, and even the data is unpublished. We are also willing to sharing the data with those countries, and to also to give them the confidence to using the CoronaVac.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about Chile as the partner entity in developing Sinovac, and what is your role, and how do you assist perhaps Chile in manufacturing and also distribution and the distribution of Sinovac? We get very encouraging results from the Chile phase 3 trials. These results were published by the New England Journal of Medicine. Tell us about Chile and Sinovac.
Yeah, well, That is actually when we have the CoronaVac, we complete the phase 1, phase 2 clinical trial in China. And then it's impossible for us to conduct phase 3 in mainland China because at that time, it's around May of last year. There's no many cases reported in mainland China. So we have to conduct the phase 3 large-scale efficacy study in other countries. And at the very beginning, we talked with the many our partners in many countries. And at that time, we have, because we have a quite good relationship with the Catholic University of Chile for our previous development of others kind of vaccines. So we just spent very little time and to get agreement to do the co-development and to do the local, clinical studies in Chile. And well, the clinical studies is always not our final target. As after study, the supply is our final destination. So at that time, we already have a lot of communication with the Chile government and talk about the supply, talk about the supply plan and something like that. So that's why I think we are the first, not first, but we are in a very early of this year, we already start the supply to Chile. So far, already more than 12 million doses already supplied to this country, and more than 10 million doses already be used in the population of this country. That is the whole story.
But the trial involved population age 16 and above. What about the younger population? Do you have any numbers for that?
Yeah, for sure. We actually at the very beginning, even in our phase 2, we already including the pediatric group, and we have clinical studies data from our phase 2 on the pediatric group age 3 to 17 years old, and the data shows that the vaccine has a good safety and the immunogenicity, even on the pediatric group. And we also are already sharing this data with many countries, and the vaccine already got approved in China for emerging use in the pediatric group, and the pediatric group already start to use our vaccine in China. And we just got the emergency use approval for such children group in Indonesia. And currently, we are also discussing with the Chile MOH, with Chile authority and the Brazil authorities, and we will provide more data. And meanwhile, we are also preparing a larger clinical studies to adjust the efficacy in different countries to evaluate the vaccine efficacy in the pediatric group. So we are willing to collaborate with the different countries and talk about the vaccination strategies, even in the pediatric group.
But we're also seeing increasing number of COVID-19 cases in Malaysia. How prepared is Sinovac to provide enough vaccine to Malaysia?
Yeah, well, we have a quite good relationship with our partner Pharmaniaga in Malaysia, and we are partner even before the COVID pandemic. So we quickly get agreement, get on the collaboration for the local production. So we are already supply several thousand liter of the ready-to-fill bulk to Pharmaniaga, and Pharmaniaga will do the local production. Meanwhile, in order to make the population in Malaysia to use the vaccine as soon as possible, we also supply more than 8 million doses of finished product produced by Sinovac to Malaysia. So we have a quite good dialogue with the partners, Pharmaniaga, with also the Malaysia government. And we are willing, to contribute our effort and to fasten the supply of the CoronaVac in this country.
Tell us about your collaboration with Pharmaniaga. Why Pharmaniaga, and what has both parties learned so far?
Well, that will come back to, I think, 2019 2019 or 2018, I can't remember. At very beginning, actually, our team visited Pharma-Niaga, and Pharma-Niaga senior management team also visited Sinovac. And I think both companies have same target to bring the vaccine in this country. So at that period, we already make the decision and to bring the vaccine local produced in Malaysia and in facility Pharma-Niaga. And well, certainly the COVID coming, so we immediately and to collaborate even for COVID vaccines. But after COVID, we will still go on our collaboration for other vaccines. That's for sure.
But will this also help the distribution process, make it faster, make it easier for countries to accept or to get their vaccines?
Yes, that's for sure. You know, the production of vaccine is a complicated process, and the build up of the filling and packaging capability also take time. So that's why at quite beginning, even earlier this year, we have some collaboration with some partner in different countries, including Brazil, Malaysia, Indonesia, Turkey, and currently also working on Egypt and Chile, and also other countries. We have around 10 such local production project running, all of them in developing countries. By this way, we can first supply the ready-to-fill bulk in those countries with the help of local partners, and to make the vaccine as early as possible. And so by this way, they are not really rely on our filling and packaging line. That will save a lot of time. Meanwhile, in Sinovac, we are also build up our filling and packaging line. And in the past 6 months, we already successfully set up more than 10 filling line. That is why we can increase our product capability to up to 4 billion doses per year.
Wei Ning, I'm going to ask you a final question, which is a bit technical. Yeah, what's the vaccine status for those who have taken their first dose of vaccine and then later they're tested positive? Do they need to take their first dose again, or just go straight to their second dose? How long after that?
I even don't think they need to take the second dose. You know, the principle of the vaccine, it just simulate the viral infection. So if after the first dose and the people, well, another thing I need to mention that because this is inactivated whole viral vaccines, they definitely need 2 doses. So only after third dose, antibody level is still not high enough. And so people still need very carefully after first dose, wearing mask and keep the social distance. Actually, even after second dose, I still encourage people and to be careful because the pandemic is still there. Well, come back to the special situation you mentioned that. So if the people just with the 1 dose and then they get infected, and after they recovered, actually within their body, the antibody level already very high. And so there's no need for them to take a second shot. And I think they can waiting for the governmental policy for the booster, and then they can make their own judgment on that.
On that note, thank you very much, Wei Ning Meng, Pengarah Kanan Pengurusan Pengawal Seliaan Luar Negara Sinovac Biotech, membincangkan berkenaan dengan keberkesanan vaksin, cabaran untuk membekalkan vaksin dan juga perkembangan terkini bersama dengan partner ataupun rakannya di Chile berkenaan dengan ujian vaksinasi dan keberkesanan vaksin Sinovac. Teruskan bersama kami dalam agenda awal ini untuk membincangkan perkembangan dalam dan juga luar negara. Saya Rizal Zulkafli. Salam hormat.